Is hedonism inherently good or bad? Have you ever wondered if the pursuit of pleasure is a path to happiness or a slippery slope to trouble? The concept of hedonism, rooted in ancient Greek philosophy, offers a fascinating perspective on this question. At its core, hedonism defines pleasure as the highest good and the ultimate aim of human life. The word itself comes from the Greek term for pleasure, hedon. The debate about whether hedonism is inherently good or bad has been around 4 centuries. 2 main types of hedonism exist: psychological hedonism and ethical hedonism. Psychological hedonism suggests that humans are driven solely by the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain. On the other hand, ethical hedonism argues that pleasure is the only intrinsic good and should guide our moral choices. One of the earliest proponents of hedonism was Aristippus of Cyrene, who lived in the 4th century before the Common Era. He believed that the goal of life is to maximize immediate bodily pleasures. This approach often faced criticism for promoting selfishness and a lack of concern for future consequences. Critics argued that focusing solely on personal gratification could lead to negative outcomes. However, not all ancient Greek hedonists were so narrow in their views. Later thinkers like Anaxagoras and Theodorus expanded the idea to include pleasures from social connections, such as family and friendship, as well as mental pleasures like justice and moderation. This broader perspective suggests that emotional and intellectual fulfillment can be more lasting than fleeting physical sensations. Epicureanism, another significant branch of Greek philosophy, also embraced hedonism but with a twist. Epicurus taught that the highest pleasure is actually the absence of pain and disturbance, a state known as ataraxia. He advocated for a life filled with simple pleasures and moderation, suggesting that some pains might be necessary if they lead to greater long-term happiness. From a European historical viewpoint, hedonism has been both celebrated and criticized. Some see it as a natural guide to human behavior, acknowledging pleasure as a fundamental aspect of life. Others view it with skepticism, fearing it may encourage excess and moral relativism if taken too far. Ultimately, whether hedonism is good or bad depends on how it is interpreted and applied. A balanced approach that values mental and social pleasures alongside physical ones, while considering long-term consequences, can lead to positive outcomes. Conversely, an unchecked pursuit of immediate pleasure without regard for others can result in negative effects for both individuals and society. In essence, hedonism is not inherently good or bad. Its moral value hinges on its form and the context in which it is practiced. The spectrum of hedonistic thought in ancient Greece, from the immediate pleasures of the Cyrenaics to the more measured approach of the Epicureans, illustrates that pleasure can be understood and pursued in various ways throughout European intellectual history.